This episode of Hopecast is brought to you by 901 PT. Solve your pain and stay active for a lifetime. Movement is medicine.
Lights, camera, action.
You're tuned in to Hopecast, a monthly rundown of all things Chris Hope Foundation. Our host, CHF Executive Director Chris Hope and publicist Beth Wilson come together to share the latest news, upcoming events, sponsorship and volunteer opportunities, and so much more. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Hopecast. I am Chris Hope, founder of the Chris Hope Foundation, the producer of this wonderful show. We are here at Studio 416, and I have a very special guest. She is probably the smartest person I know. And you know what? It's hard for me to say that right in front of her because we always going after each other, checking each other, giving each other a hard time. So when it's time to take care of business, we are there to take care of business. So this woman, she is a licensed clinical social worker with a specialization in pediatric medical social work. Dr. Cheryl Fergerson. I got to make sure I said doctor, or else she's going to thump me in the back of my head, and I ain't got time for that. But Dr. Fergerson began her own higher education journey at Grambling State University and completed her bachelor's degree at the University of Memphis in sociology. She also obtained her master's degree from the University of Memphis in social work. She earned a doctorate degree. That's why we call her Dr. Fergerson. She earned her doctorate degree in social work at Capella University in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 2019. Dr. Fergerson doctorate dissertation is entitled ACEs. ACEs, okay. That's Adverse Childhood Experiences and Self-Care and Examination of Child Protective Services Investigators. But how long does that have to be? My goodness.
Maximum of 12 words in your title.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole sentence within itself. That's why she's smart, and that's why I am Chris Hope, UPS driver. Keep it short, simple, and sweet. But anyway, so like I told you, she is one of the smartest people I know. She's very special to me. She is very special to the Chris Hope Foundation. And I am glad that she is here. I'm glad that you get to meet her. Maybe once again, it might be a second time for some, but for those of you just getting to meet Cheryl for the first time, please welcome Dr. Cheryl Fergerson. What's going on, my friend?
Here. Appreciate you inviting me.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So last time we talked, you was over there in the state of Washington, looking over mountains and, playing cliffhanger and all that kind of stuff in the snow.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's been going on with you?
Well, I am enjoying my break right now.
Okay.
I'm teaching full-time at the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss.
Okay.
And so, of course, we're on break right now. So classes don't begin until a week after next. So
Okay.
I got a little more time off. So I'm just kind of chilling. I've got all my things ready to go for spring semester. So
Okay.
I don't have really much that I'm doing right now, just kind of hanging out.
So that's why you managed to have a little time for me today.
I managed it just a little bit.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. So I met Cheryl, how many years ago? Oh, my gosh, at least 3-4 years ago.
Longer.
Maybe longer than
The
that.
COVID time warp gives us 2 years. So
Okay.
it was about 2018.
Okay. Yeah, because that's when we was in the Clark Tower.
Yeah.
Back in that day. So Cheryl, well, actually your colleague was the social worker for a kid I knew who's a local patient here. And I wanted to know more about you guys, and we had a meeting, and you was very informative, and throughout all the different ways that services are needed, and it just kind of took off from there.
Right.
So Cheryl, I mean, literally taught me a lot. And showed a lot of different opportunities and ways that the Chris Hope Foundation could make a difference in the lives of families beyond paying bills. She is the reason why we have all these different programs and the opportunities to help families who have a child in hospice care. Because prior to that, we didn't deal with any hospice or
Right.
palliative care until you came along and was telling us about the different needs and ways we could help. And that was pretty much the turning point for the Chris Hope Foundation then. So it's because of you. Because of you.
Because of you actually agreeing to it. Thank you.
Yeah. She's part of the reason that we're at next level. I mean, when I said she has some creative ideas, I mean, literally, she would come and she would talk about, okay, so we got this kid that's in end of life care. His birthday is coming up, and oh my goodness, I lost power. Okay, so yes, so a lot has been learned since meeting Cheryl, and she's really made a major impact with the Chris O Foundation. So tell us about the different situations, how you were able to come up with these many ideas when it comes to doing these special things for these kids, and how often the need is there and things like that. So talk to the people like you
Yeah.
talk to me.
Absolutely. So, one thing I think that it's not necessarily about just ideas, it was really needs more so that were tangible and presented to you for needs that families have. So, a lot of these things, it was wonderful in the fact that I was able to just come to the Chris Hope Foundation and say, hey, you know what? This might be a little outlandish, but I need this. And you all just agreeing to it and making it happen. So one of the things that I appreciate about the Chris Hope Foundation is the lack of red tape and bureaucracy, right? That's sometimes required when you're making requests for funding or for some type of need to be met for a patient and their family. And that's one of the beautiful things about this foundation, in just being willing to jump in there and help and being able to just, provide whatever that need is. And so a couple of examples I can recall, when a child unfortunately has to, reach the point of end of life and they die.
Right.
It's a lot that goes into that, right? As far as the prep for funeral services, getting family either, into town or having accommodations for them in those moments, because at the end of the day, the hospital and the programs the hospital offers only has so much reach. They're only able to do so much. So for you all to be able to help with, hotel rooms for those, or gas for family to get into town, for funeral services, on down to even purchasing the little dresses for the baby for their funeral service, or the little suits or whatnot for the young men that pass away. It seems to be small, but it is such a huge burden that's lifted off of the family to be able to have those types of needs met. So absolutely, that's one of the things I most appreciate about CHF is the capacity to just come and say this is needed for this family and have that need met.
Well, I tell you what, when there was a need, you definitely didn't have any problem with reaching out.
Never.
And I mean, literally, Chris Hope.
Do anything but say no.
Yeah, Chris Hope. and I always respond, how much?
Yeah.
How much?
But honestly, really, when you think about it, how much have I ever really asked for? Like, as far as dollar amounts, it's really not a lot per se.
No,
It's,
it really isn't.
It's the meeting of that small need that seems so huge.
Right.
It's really not even a huge financial amount. Like,
No, it's
I'll
not.
give you an example. One young man, I want to say he was like an adolescent. It wasn't a little kid, but because of the medication he was on, and of course the stage he was in toward end of life, he became incontinent and needing the boxes of pull-ups to wear at night, right? And I think those boxes of the good nights ran like $25-26 at Target or something like that. But it doesn't seem like a lot to us, but that's a lot to the family.
Right.
And some of these things aren't provided by the hospital, especially if they're outpatient and they're already at home. And so for me to just be able to come to you and say, hey, I need a box of good nights or 2 or 3, and get that. It's just insanity to just, and you would just think about all the red tape though. Had I gone another route,
Right.
I had to fill out paperwork and go through all this and that and wait on approval from this person.
Right,
But I could just pick up the phone and call you and go get it.
Right. And it's funny because that was one of the things that we started offering every month. Just say, you know what, let's just provide these wipes every month. Let's provide these diapers every month.
Yep.
And again, that was one of those things that you showed us a way we could help in bunches. I can't remember how many families a month that came out of that. But that was a need.
I think we ended up doing the numbers on that at one point, just how many families actually got help from the diapers and wipes in a month.
Because I had to do it every year.
Yeah.
I have to give a report.
And it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was quite a few, even with me just going and doing the home visits, and I'm dropping off maybe 2 packages of wipes to the family.
Right.
It was huge for them.
Because Val was getting like, what, 2, 3?
We do 2 or 3 boxes. I think at one point we had gotten up to 4 boxes.
Yeah.
But I'd take those boxes of, say, I want to say at Sam's, it was maybe 18 packs of wipes.
Okay.
in a
I don't
box.
remember.
I don't remember either. But taking those and breaking them down, 2 or 3 packs of wipes per family that I go visit. And it was very, very helpful to them.
So, I mean, I know that you're have moved on to other opportunities because right now you're teaching in Ole Miss.
I teach at Ole Miss full time, and then I still do some independent contract work, working with adults with cognitive disabilities.
Okay. You just don't stop.
You know,
She just
who
don't
else is gonna
stop.
do it?
Yeah, that's a good point. But now I forgot what my original question was.
You were saying, how I moved on to do other things, but
Yeah. So, well, I was talking. We was talking about the wipes and the diapers. And back when you was doing the social work for what was the name of this?
Koala.
Koala. Yes. How many families do you think that you was assisting on a monthly basis?
Ooh, probably anywhere between 20 to 30.
20 to 30
I would say per month. And really, it could possibly be more than that because even though I had some families that were consistent, we were always doing new intakes and getting new patients in, right? Or they move around. Some of the patients would be inpatient for a while and they come to outpatient because that was the majority of what I did was go and do the home visits in an outpatient setting for those in hospice and palliative care and figuring out what it was that their families needed, and working toward that end. But I will say, too, though, with you bringing up me, moving on and having other ventures, the work that this foundation does is the reason that I've always stayed connected. Volunteering with the Chris Hope Foundation is kind of just a given. It's nothing that I would ever just not do. Right. So even though we met with me working in a professional capacity, being able to transition over to just volunteering my time and energy. And I will encourage everybody in the world to volunteer and give their time because it's worth it.
Well, the cool thing is, I mean, you come and volunteer, but now you've got your family involved, you got your son's girlfriend involved. So it's more than just you. And now your son wants to be at every thing that we have, So once he got to be the mascot that night, it's like, man, just let me know when you need me. Just let me know.
That's right.
And that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. Hey, what is it that he has going on?
That's right.
Yeah. So
it's such a worthy foundation, and I can just have to tell you, I don't give you your flowers much.
Yeah, I mean, you know how we are. Yeah.
But you have done an amazing job with this foundation and opening up not only to just the local Memphis community, but beyond, and going, as you say, next level.
Right.
Very important because I think that it's important for your, supporters to understand that the type of support that you give to these families is unmatched. You know, like I was talking about the bureaucracy and red tape and the
Right.
limitations that the hospital has, you're really able to fill the gaps. And I think that when you talked about earlier, you know, taking the organization to the next level and expanding, it's more so just you being able to fill gaps
Yeah.
for families. For like when I came to you about the Chris Hope House.
Right.
Which
That's a whole other
we
subject.
talked about you spending money, but I think
Yeah.
that's about the most money I ever asked you for.
Yeah.
Which I did not expect that. I did not expect
neither
that out
did
of you.
I.
I did not expect that.
Neither did I.
The way this started, let me just tell
All
you,
right,
listen.
so listen to this because I gotta make sure she tells the story right.
The way this, as far as my memory, the way this started
Okay,
was.
so I want you to look at that camera right
which
there.
one?
Yeah, that camera right there. I want you to tell the people about this.
So what had happened was,
Oh
no.
gosh.
But honestly, I think I was frustrated one day. And I was frustrated with the fact that I had a family, and was it about a dog? Maybe.
I can't remember.
I really can't remember, but something around like that, or the amount of people that were being allowed in the housing. Because most often, you know, of course, it's wonderful that the hospital provides housing for families, right? But there are some limitations that they have. They can only have, you know, one or two, you know, parents, no other extended family members. The siblings aren't able to, depending on the situation, be in the housing with them.
Right.
And so I was just talking and kind of venting to Chris about how awesome it would be if we just had a space for families that they wouldn't have to worry about, you know, the red tape and all of that. And I want to say this is kind of before like what do you call them things?
Airbnb.
Airbnbs kind
Yeah.
of really took off and got to float. Like there was really, it was just starting or not a such thing at the time. We were kind of tossing this about. I was venting to Chris about it. And so it wasn't long later, like at
No, it
all.
wasn't.
It was
No, it
not
wasn't.
long.
It wasn't.
And this man called me and was like, hey, I just bought a house. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's great. I'm thinking like, you know, house.
think I bought me a house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bought a house for
yeah.
your family or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's great. Congratulations. And he was like, no. I bought a house for the Chris Hope Foundation. We need a name for it. Like, we didn't have
Yeah,
a name.
we didn't have any of that.
And I was like, first of all, I don't know who he met with or didn't meet with before making this
Heck, you
decision.
get a house out of the blue.
Just got a house and pretty much put it in my hands like, this is going to be your house, how you want it to run. We came up with a little like contractual
Yeah, the
agreement
contract,
and
yeah,
thing for
yeah.
families to sign. But the idea that a family could come in and it be their home temporarily. It's
Yeah.
theirs. So they can
theirs.
have a pet if they want.
Right.
At the home. They can have, you know, grandma and grandpa come down and stay with them for the weekend if they want. This was a 3-bedroom,
Yeah.
2-bath,
Yes.
you know, large, like
I think it was like
fully furnished, everything that a family
only-
needs.
the only thing they need were their own clothes.
That's it. Food is there when they get there.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
unreal. So it was kind of like Airbnb on steroids to a degree, you know, to allow these families this space,
Yeah.
you know, and so many families have been able to benefit from the Chris Hope, you know, Foundation House, CHF House. And it was just really unimaginable. And then what? It was open within a year. You got it. We started the renovating.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
team came out and helped the nurses. That was just a beautiful thing. The nurses, the
Oh
chaplain,
yeah,
like
we
we're in there
were
painting.
getting everybody. If you know how to paint, sweep, tape, mop, I mean everything.
Everything.
Yeah, because that house
The
needed all of
volunteers-
that.
Yeah, the volunteers just came, showed up and showed out and got that house open within the year.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
I think we started a little bit of stuff in October of 19, and then went full force in January.
Yeah.
That's when the contractors came, and
What, September,
It was
ribbon
ready in
cutting?
September. Yeah, Yep.
September 2020, in the middle of pandemic.
Didn't miss a beat.
And honestly, with it opening in September 2020 in the midst of that pandemic, it really became like even more of a need than we imagined, right? Because of the restrictions that the hospital had with
Yes.
family visiting,
Yes.
siblings coming in.
Yes.
It was like perfect timing.
Yes.
Because again, Chris Hope House doesn't have those
Hey,
type of
I
restrictions.
know what I'm doing sometimes.
I'm sure you didn't play in COVID, sir.
Well, you know, not only that, but also that if we open in September during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that was kind of strategically planned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. So yeah, it came in what did the kids say? Clutch. It was definitely clutch during the pandemic for our families, for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I almost forgot about that you was part of the house deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was just out of nowhere, calling and saying, "Hey, I got a house. Like, here you go." What?
Yeah. That I think doing the ribbon cutting was the proudest you've had ever been, because you was able to walk through when it was finished and your mom was there. You walked through and checked it out. You was so happy. You was just showing your mom, you know, like, look at this and look at that and all of this.
It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And still is. Like, it still is amazing.
Right. Yeah, because we actually done more things to it since you've seen it. But yeah, it was a wonderful. It was a wonderful project, and hopefully we can connect with Mitzi, and still trying to get CHF Family House #2.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we had some choices, but I didn't really like them, so I'm just gonna patiently wait, sit and wait, so y'all can go ahead and build y'all shoulders back up again for some more painting, sweeping, and cutting, and all that. All that
And
came
I was
with
thinking,
that.
like, I haven't painted my own house.
Yeah.
If I think about it, but it was so much joy in that, though.
Well, just be
You know?
glad you weren't part of the tearing down the walls and
Oh,
the
yeah.
ceiling and all that kind of stuff.
I kind of scraped the kitchen floor up a little bit.
A little bit.
Did a little bit of scraping. That was a little rough on your girl, but
Oh my goodness.
definitely fun and worth
So
it.
okay, so you dealt with a lot of hospice kids. How were you able to come up with these different ideas that you presented to me when it comes to like birthday celebrations, end of life wishes? Because for the most part, you had kind of sort of turned the Chris Hope Foundation into a mini Make-A-Wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a degree. And I think it's more so just, again, filling in gaps. You know, I don't feel like it was so much creativity that went into it on my part. I was like, let me think of how these great things can be done. It was really need. And having barriers from other foundations or barriers within the realm of, you know, hospital policies or things like that. And for instance, I give you one. This is a big thing that I think you've probably forgotten about, and it wasn't that long ago, but with HIPAA, right? There are restrictions on how families communicate, how I'm able to communicate. But through your foundation, 2 families were able to intersect and meet each other, and one gifted the other with a van. A handicap accessible van, because they no longer needed it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their son had passed away. They lost their child.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a handicap accessible van and all of that, and they no longer needed it. And, of course, it was a reminder of course, their son.
Right.
But they were able to gift this working vehicle
Yeah.
to another family who not only had a child, you know, in hospice care, but also the dad was disabled and used a wheelchair, right? So this family had some major needs. So things like that. Like, how does this happen? And it's not about necessarily creativity. It's about just filling in the gaps and
Right.
meeting people, you know, where they are for what they need.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. Yeah, that was a big deal.
That was a huge deal.
It was a
Yeah.
real big deal.
Shout out to those families if they're listening. They know who they are.
Yeah, you know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah, but families being able to meet each other and you know, have support and come across something that would have never happened
Right.
to this other family. Like,
Right.
she would have never been able to afford a working vehicle like that.
Yeah.
That was in that type of condition with those types of specifications. Like, that just wouldn't have happened.
Okay, so we've done, oh my gosh, a large number of things together. So thinking back of all the things that we've done, what is the one thing that we did that just
One?
Yeah, the top one. Okay, so let's do top three. Let's do top three.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Let's see. Top 3. Let's go with one, the house.
Okay.
And under that umbrella of the house, I'll put the caveat. One of the most special stories I feel like in that house was we had a family. Child was like literally at end of life, like at end of life, final hours. And the mother had an unfortunate domestic situation with her significant other and had nowhere to go. Was put out of the house with a dying child.
Yeah,
And had nowhere to go.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And that child went to the Chris Hope house with his mom, and he didn't die in the house, but he spent the last several hours before he passed away at that house on that couch with the nurses coming back and forth doing what they needed to do at his end of life. So that was one example of why the house was extremely special to me. The house especially anyway, but that particular instance in that house being available immediately right then in the middle of a pandemic.
That was timing. That was a real good time.
It was, because I think another family had just left. We had enough time to clean it and get everything together and then get him there to be comfortable in his, last several hours.
Right.
So I really appreciated that for sure. Oh gosh.
Because there's one, and I remember, and I was wondering if it was going to be one in your top 3. So you've given number 1 and 1B.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So what is number 2?
Number 2, I think, was when I requested the funeral attire for a little baby.
Okay.
And that was really special for me because, and just in my job, right, as the medical social worker, the trust that a family instills in me and allowing me and, of course, the foundation into their space.
Right.
They're in their most intimate, dark moments, allowing us to be able to come in and be, of support to them is amazing. But being trusted to go into the store and pick out your child's funeral attire, but calling you and getting that in like literally minutes. Chris, I need this. Didn't know it was going to be a need.
Yeah.
Down to the little socks.
I mean, literally, it was one of those, stop what you're doing. We need to take care of this like right now. Yeah. I remember that. We was some Amazon shopping and
Kids and Moms. Shout out to Kids and Moms in South Haven, Mississippi, to helping with me find a beautiful little dress and her little socks, a little headband for her hair. I think we even did a little matching little basket.
We did.
Or whatnot with it. Like, and so that's kind of how you are, like whatever you want, whatever you need.
Right.
To provide. So that for sure is one of my top moments.
Okay, we got number 1. We got 1B. We got
2.
number 2. So number 3.
Oh gosh.
Okay, this is it.
I don't know if this is it for you, but for me, and I don't know, this should be like 1B1.
Well,
All these are number 1s. The doll, man. There was a baby doll.
Oh, okay.
Did you forget about that?
No. What's that? That was like one of the first couple of things that we did.
That was one of the first things you had done.
Yeah.
That baby doll, though.
Yeah. So tell the people the background, the story about the doll.
I honestly don't remember all of the details. But it was like, was it one of those Baby Alive dolls? Not Baby Alive, but I don't know. It was almost like one of those life dolls.
Yeah. And so I don't know. This kid was always down, but they saw this doll. But she saw this doll on the computer screen or iPad or something, and she would just light up. So they was like, let's get her this doll because she responds so well to this doll.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily, and that was one of the more expensive items, I would think. It was around good $50, I want to say. But
yeah,
whatever it was, we were able to get that doll. and deliver it to that child. And I think when I sent you the picture, like of her, and of course her face was shielded, but you could see from just the bottom and all that stuff.
Right.
How excited and happy she was, because it was like just one thing she wanted.
The one thing that she wanted. How old was she? About 2, 3?
Oh, no. She had the sibling that was 2 or 3, but
okay.
she was around 5 or 6.
Okay. Because I remember the picture
Hispanic.
of her reaching out for the doll. Like,
yeah, it's a Hispanic family. And that connection that she was able to make from that, and kind of lighting up and being a little bit more behind that doll. Okay, and then I got to have one more.
Okay, let's see if this is going to be it. Number 4.
Okay, so I got a lot of these.
Okay.
But this one is really good, too.
Okay.
This was my Serbian family.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember them, but you did a lot for them.
I did.
I say a lot in, this was a teenager from Serbia.
Okay.
Completely.
This is my first international family, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Your first international family. And he was a teenager. And a couple of things. One, we had a Memphis Grizzly that was Serbian or something at the time. I can't remember that guy's name, but
can't either.
you made it happen for him to be come to a Grizzlies game. He was well enough to come out because they were staying not in Chris Hope House. They were at
we didn't have a house
at
then.
St. Jude's, not Ronald McDonald.
Target House.
But they were able to get out to the Grizzlies game. And that was just amazing for him as a young man, as a teenager, and, of course, being confined so much, to be able to have that experience. The other thing you had done for them was allow them to grocery shop.
Grocery shop.
They were able to grocery shop on an international from an international store like in Chicago.
Right.
Mom was able to make a list.
Made it a grocery
For him
list.
to have his true Serbian home cooked meals, because of course them coming to America and what we eat is no, right?
Yeah,
and he wasn't really eating. He wasn't really eating, and you need to eat, of course, when you're battling cancer, right?
Right.
And taking all this medication, and for him to be able to, his mom to just go and order whatever she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did you do that once, you said, hey, let's make this a monthly thing. And she had a budget of, I want to say, around $250 a month for grocery shopping for him to get these things from that Serbian market in Chicago, I think it was, and had it shipped.
Yeah, and we only did it a couple of times. I don't know if they ended up going home. I can't remember what the case would be. But I do remember that, because he would only eat certain foods. And so we.
And the last thing, too, you were able to ship their items home.
Okay, that's the same family.
Same family.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Same family.
Yeah, that was the first time we went international. Yeah, we helping folks from all over the world. Yeah. And I think we've helped.
The Haitian family.
3. I think we've been 2 or 3 families.
My Haitian mom, and she ended up she was pregnant with twins when she was here with a 9-month-old with leukemia in Target House and stuff. Yep.
Well,
and getting the dad here to visit, helping with the I'm telling you, you've done a lot.
I cannot believe.
So what's the one that I'm not remembering?
Okay, I can't believe that you didn't think about this one.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, but this was when I was living in River Tower.
Okay. Oh my gosh! Yes.
I can't believe you didn't.
I know that was so big.
That was huge.
That was huge.
That was huge.
That was like one of the best. Man,
that's why I like. Because his grandmother still every now and then, like every 4, 6, 8 months, she just send me a message.
I still wear his shirt.
Yeah. What was his name? Start with an A.
I can't tell you his name.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
but yes, it did start with an A.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell everybody the story behind it.
Now,
so you know it's a big deal. You see how she's responding.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
It was a big deal. We went all
out.
Let's make this happen.
Okay, so what happened was, this young man, of course, he was a hospice child, end of life, and he did die. He died shortly after this. But he was in his final stages of life, and was it his birthday?
It was his birthday.
So, or what? It could have just been just a day, but it was his birthday. Okay, so his mother, grandmother, they were from further down in Mississippi, but his grandparents relocated to South Haven.
Okay.
To be closer for him to have treatment. And of course, even though he was kind of near the end of life, and they understood that they had relocated here. And so his family had a theme. His name started with the A, and then it was a cute little slogan, A name Army.
Right.
And one of the things was his grandfather was active military.
Right.
And so what I did was reached out to the Mississippi National Guard for some help with his party. And because it was his little theme was his name Army, and his grandpa was Army, the Army agreed to help us. And so the place that you were at had a pool.
Huge.
And that was one of the things that he loved and wanted to experience water. And of course, that's hard to be able to get done when you're sick like that and all that. So we had to get medical approvals and things. And I still don't think he was actually able to get in the water, but he got approval to get out. Right. And so we set up the pool area like a beach. Brought in sand.
Yes.
One of my friends, I got to give her a shout out, Tiffany Smith. Tiffany had a, what do you call it? The decoration business. What do you, I don't know.
Decoration sound good. Event coordinator.
Thank you. She's like event planner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Tiffany's an event planner locally for Memphis and North Mississippi. And I reached out to her, and she gave us like all of the rubber and blow up palm
inflatables,
trees, inflatable pools, and just decorations and things like that, right? So we turned this what was supposed to be just a little birthday party for him and an outing around water because he liked water.
Yeah, because he wanted to go to the beach. That was his request. He wanted to go to the beach.
And couldn't get there.
Right.
And so we brought the beach to him.
Right.
And then the Army came, of course, thankfully, because they hauled the sand and
real.
all of that.
For real.
It was an entire unit from the Mississippi National Guard. I can't remember, maybe Pack Horse Unit in South Haven, so I can give them a shout out.
Yeah. Don't give me the line.
Yeah, they brought their soldiers, and I mean, it wasn't a few soldiers. They brought their soldiers, and it was the most beautiful thing because when they wheeled him in the little wagon, those soldiers lined up, those men and women, and saluted him on his way in at full salute. Like, it was the most beautiful thing. They stayed for the party the whole time, hung out with him and his family, met them, helped us even break down all the decorations afterwards and pack everything up.
We brought out the ice chest. We had beverages. We had pizza.
Yeah, that was, was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was last minute. What's so crazy?
Right, it was last minute. I was like, okay, let's do this. We could do this.
And it just kept growing, though. It's like, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and let's get these people out here.
Because we was reaching out to more people. You know, it's like, okay, this is what I need. They was like, okay, well, we got you. We got you.
Man.
That was huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah. And you can tell it meant a lot because, I mean, he was very weak. But he was able to get some energy and enjoy himself.
He
did.
did.
Then you could tell that it got to a point where he's like, I don't have it anymore. And he just laid in their arms. Yeah, because I remember the nurse being there and everything for the just in case. So so I thought that was going to be your most moment.
I had forgotten about that, but that is definitely that is one moment to cherish.
So that's what I mean when we talk about all of the different things and that we were able to do for families outside of paying bills, and that part I miss because the social workers I work with now, they don't have that vision. I mean, basically we're just house note, rent, utilities, but to be able to do something like that. I mean, we don't do that anymore, which is part of the reason why we have the Labana Kid of the Month, because now we can do that for individual kids, and they can go down and shop and spend. I think they have spent up to $50 in the gift store. So,
but I think the reason for that, honestly, is again, like you said, that vision being lost. We're so used to as social workers, just filling out this piece of paper. What is it that you need for the family, and those needs being more about the right nows and the day to day, and not necessarily thinking about what is it that we can do to brighten this child's life.
Right.
And that was what Koala did, though, in our program, because Koala stood for QOLA, quality of life for all kids. So I'm coming from a quality of life focus.
Right.
What can I do to enhance the quality of this child's life?
Right.
Regardless of them being at end of life, what is it that can be done to make this child's and this family's life better, happy in this moment?
Special, unforgettable.
Yeah. Because a kid could care less if the light bill is paid. Like, they don't really care about that.
Right.
But what can I do for the child?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yes, that's important, right, to help mom with that. But again, the little things that we help mom with, baby wipes and diapers.
Yes.
That's one less trip to the store, a few less dollars at the checkout that they have to spend.
Right.
Those are the things that really matter.
Right.
You know.
Well, I tell you what, you open my eyes to a lot of things. You open Viola's eyes to a lot of things, and I mean, like I said, that at that point, that's where CHF really changed. You know, not thinking about how many families need assistance with funeral expenses, and so we end up connecting with the station. I can't think of the department at La Bonheur. So now we have with we're part of their fund they have for families who need assistance in that. I'm having brain farts here, so it must be time for me to go to bed. My body always starts shutting down about 3:00. What time is it?
I don't know what time it is. Maybe about that time.
Yeah, it's just 2.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
you know, and again, out of those things, yes, funeral expenses are needed, but you know, going beyond a little bit and making sure that the family has the outfit.
Were
that
you the
they
one?
want.
Were you the one? Had the family that needed a baby crib? I believe it was. They may have been. Diana. I mean Deanna. Because there was a family that needed a baby crib, and we bought a baby crib and took it out to the house and left it on the porch for them with a note. I think they may have been after you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because you would have remembered that.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And they came home.
But
and
you definitely have helped with plenty of baby stuff before. You know.
Yeah.
For our families.
I tell you what, we did so much stuff that I'm gonna just say here is our Amazon account. Just put it,
I did
just
that
put
so
it
many
on there.
times.
Yeah, just order the stuff and we'll take care of it from there.
And speaking of Amazon, let me put this plug in.
Thank you so very
I know
much for
it's time
joining
us to
us
go.
at the Chris Hope Foundation before she starts.
I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm actually going to ask the listeners for something.
Okay, what's that?
Just to remind listeners, of course, because Amazon is a big thing. Everybody uses Amazon.
Right.
But you have an Amazon Smile set up to where when you order on Amazon, then they do the kind of fundraiser give back from Amazon. It's not that much necessarily that you get
but you
off
know
the
what?
orders, but
They don't do that anymore.
they don't do Amazon Smile anymore?
No, they don't do that anymore. They cut that out.
That sucks.
They cut that out.
So then I'll just say directly then, go to the CHF, ChrisHopeFoundation.org website and donate. There's a little button there, just donate. Donate.
Look at you.
Donate. It's
at
it's
you.
worth it. And I'm going to say this too. I don't want to take anything away from any other foundations or, the hospitals and what they do. But listeners and subscribers and people who follow you need to understand that whatever is raised, whatever funds are raised in this organization goes to the families.
Yes.
I volunteer. I don't get paid for showing up or going to do whatever. There's nobody here with this organization that has to be paid out of overhead type of stuff like most organizations do. And so it's a lot of times you wonder like operating cost or, for some of the larger hospitals when you donate to them, some of it does go to help families, but a lot of it goes to research or a lot of it goes to other, entities. Here, your money is buying diapers, your money is buying wipes, your money is buying birthday parties and gifts and helping the family with the cake and a dress for their baby to wear in the casket for the funeral. Like, that's where your money is going, to the family.
And also buying tons of arts and crafts for all the child life department.
Child life specialist needs. Yes, because they ride around in their cars too and have to go, to these patients' homes or the people that are being served in the hospital. Because, again, there are limitations that they have. The hospital has a budget, but if there are extra things that they want or need that Chris Hope Foundation can provide, you're going to do it.
That's what we're here for.
And there's no red tape. that they have to go through to get it.
no.
Chris, I need 10 extra packs of color pencils.
And then I give her a hard time. Why you got to hide this? Blah blah blah. And she just
$10.
She just let me go ahead and go through my foolishness.
$10.
She know when I get through.
I ain't got it.
No, girl. But she let me go through my foolishness because she know when I get through,
I'm gonna get it.
you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I mean, but that's just the relationship that we have. We clown, and I ain't gonna tell them how you used to treat me. I ain't gonna, because I know the puppy loving you right now.
Treat me so bad.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go through all that. but nah, I'm glad that you were able to have a little old break and come to studio and share some of your stories, because I mean, there are people who do know, but there are a lot of people who don't know, because our followers are continually growing. And, you know, I want them to hear from people like you and Deanna, you know, the impact that we have here at the Chris Hope Foundation. And you're right. I mean, there is overhead for every organization. There is overhead, but I can say that we have specific donors. We have a specific donor who takes care of our overhead. So when you see the office space and all the stuff that's in the office, we have specific donors that takes care of that. So those who give the individual donations and things like that, it does go towards the mission and the cause. So so I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's important.
It's very important for people to have an understanding of,
right,
you know, is my money really helping?
Right, because I definitely get that. I definitely get asked. I want to make sure you good.
And if you want to earmark for something specific, if you're donating, and I want to make sure that, you know, patients get a birthday cake this month. Earmark it, and it's gonna go to whatever, you know, you say you want Chris to do with that.
Yep. Shout out to Amber Reeves, because she definitely takes care of that stuff right there. So any request that we get, Amber she pays those bills and supplies those needs. So Amber gets with Jody, who is our accountant, and Jody puts it in a system if it's something that we can't handle with a credit card or online. So they take care of all of that.
And time. Not only money, but locally, you know, I'm putting out a APB for volunteers. You know, allow your children to be involved. Mine are. You know, my daughter's a college student now, but even when she was still in high school, she was volunteering and helped at the house.
Right. We go down to Northwest and
go to Northwest for the balloon release and everything. So get your children involved. I mean, and a lot of times I put this plug in there. High school students need to show community service for scholarship applications and things. And how perfect is the Chris Hope Foundation right here in town?
And I mean, everything we do is real easy and it's fun. You've been in the parade, haven't you?
That's why I still do it. That's why I volunteer. I wouldn't volunteer if it was just killing me. Like, I have fun. Like, I get to drive the little CHF car and blow the horns and throw shirts and
throw shirts and candy and all of that.
Love it.
Well, I definitely appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you taking time out to tell the stories and inform the people, you know, all the different avenues that we help families. So I appreciate you in 1 times a million. Yep. But
well, thank you.
This gonna be the last compliment for the day, though. After that, you know, I'm not being nice anymore.
Oh man.
Yeah. So. If you want to contribute to the Chris Hope Foundation, visit the website at chrishopefoundation.org. There are donate buttons probably on every page on the website.
Volunteer button.
There's a volunteer button as well, and a subscribe button for those who want to stay in the know of what we have going on. There's a newsletter that goes out every month. And something new that we're doing, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where they're going to see this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Let me subscribe too, because I'm not subscribed to YouTube.
Yeah. So we're trying to do some more things around here. Trying to advance ourselves.
Leveling up. Okay.
Yeah. So that is it on this special edition of HopeCast. Again, reach out to us through the website or email us at admin@chrishopefoundation.org. Go ahead and register for the bowling event. Get your team of 4 for the bowling event on April 20th. And I believe registration for the gala is going to be on February 1st. If
Awesome.
yeah,
Already?
yeah,
Okay.
it's about that time, and I got a strong feeling by the end of April, 1st of May, it's going to sell
Sell
out.
out.
Yeah, yep. So I'm trying not to let it be. Well, I wanted to be a sellout because of sponsors, but I'm hoping that we still have a few tables left for friends and family to come and hang out and have a good time. So visit the foundation page, foundation.org, and know all the latest that we got going on. Get that bowling team together. Get your favorite dress for the gala, tuxedo adjusted, because I had to get my tuxedo adjusted because I'm a growing boy.
Because you ordered from Shane, probably.
Okay, and see, that's why.
Oh, wait,
that's what I'm
we're
talking
still
about
recording.
Right there. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later on. I'm gone.